This is the modern battlefield, not the slow grind of tanks and aircraft, but a relentless, constant saturation of the air, a swarm of cheap machines, small enough to fit in a backpack, yet lethal enough to dictate a soldier's life. And the sad part is, this is not a future scenario. This is the reality unfolding across Ukraine right now. War has always been dangerous, but the drone revolution has made it permanent. Drones don't need air bases. They don't need elite pilots. They need something explosive. And this creates a brutal, existential question for Europe. How do you defend a continent against weapons cheap enough to waste, but dangerous enough to destroy millions in high-end equipment? The answer begins with a fragile piece of consumer hardware could carry an RPG warhead into a trench, a vehicle, or a bunker. This wasn't elegant military planning. This was an unorganized industry slowly growing. The war created a new market around drones and AI guidances. Loitering, a US defense technology company, announced a $50 million Pentagon-funded contract to provide Ukraine with 33,000 AI drone guidance kits designed to help strike drones, track targets, even when jamming makes manual control harder. Ukraine also said it aimed to buy 4.5 million FPV drones in 2025, showing the scale of this new battlefield economy. In Europe, the money started moving too. German defense AI company Helsing raised 600 million euros in 2025, reaching a reported valuation of around $12 billion, with investors including Prima Materia, Lightspeed, Axel, Plural, General Catalyst, and Saab. Traditional defense giants also entered the race. Rheinmetall and Anduril partnered to build autonomous drones in Europe. Poland pushed anti-drone production through PGZ and Frankenberg. Across the continent, the same pattern was forming. Startups wanted contracts, investors wanted the next defense boom, and governments wanted cheap weapons fast. In February 2026, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, and the United Kingdom launched LEAP in Krakow. Europe had finally accepted that the drone war was no longer a Ukrainian problem. It was a warning for NATO, with first results expected by 2027, and some platforms potentially entering production within 12 months. This is the world LEAP came from. LEAP didn't spring from a single laboratory. It is the product of investors betting on disruptive technology, defense ministries desperate for immediate solutions, and industry scrambling to capture a market shift. Is the process where capital meets combat necessity, creating a powerful, often messy opportunity. This convergence is the DNA of LEAP.
So, what does LEAP look like? As said before, LEAP is not a single vehicle. It is a complete, layered architecture. Do not think of it as a tank, but as an operating system for defense. It is a family of interconnected systems built around one unifying philosophy of the most efficient response to cheap, distributed threats. This architecture is built on 4 interlocking layers that work in concert. This is how LEAP solves the low efficiency problem that plagues the current drone landscape. First layer, detection. This is the eyes. Small drones are designed to evade detection, flying low, blending into clutter, and using commercial components that traditional radar struggles to classify. LEAP's first layer demands a fusion of sensors, combining radar sweeps, high-resolution optical cameras, thermal imaging, acoustic sensors, and radio frequency detection. Second layer, command and control. The real challenge is not spotting the drone, it is deciding how much it deserves. The system has to judge the threat fast enough to avoid the mistakes which is spending a premium weapon on a disposable target. Third layer, the effector. The point is not to use the strongest weapon available. The point is to use the cheapest response that is still capable of stopping the threat. This is the part of the architecture that actually stops the drone. In practice, that could mean small interceptor drones built to chase and ram hostile UAVs, gun systems using programmable airburst ammunition, or electronic warfare tools such as jammers, spoofers, and RF blockers that cut the drone's control link or confuse its navigation. Fourth layer, autonomy. This is where speed is won. Just to make sure, let's separate the idea of rogue killing machines from LEAP itself. As I said, drones are already ending infantry lives on today's battlefields. LEAP is just making this process more autonomous and organized. The system automates the tedious, high-speed tasks: automated detection, rapid tracking, immediate threat classification, and pre-planned routing for interceptors. The human operator remains in the loop, but they are no longer burdened by the complexity and time constraints of processing thousands of real-time data streams. This integration is the solution. Instead of relying on one siloed solution, a radar, a missile, a jammer, LEAP forces these components into a single, cohesive, networked structure. It transforms disparate tools into a synchronized, scalable defense network.
The current state of drone warfare is defined by chaos. It is a fragmented, reactive mess. On the attacking side, systems are improvised, adapted, and upgraded in real time. On the defending side, countermeasures are equally improvised. A shotgun blast here, a jamming rifle there, a net deployed randomly. This is inefficiency defined. Different units use different frequencies. Different drones use different protocols. Different command channels delay response. A radar detects a threat, but the operator is blind. They cannot instantaneously decide whether to use a missile, a gun, a jammer, or an interceptor drone. This is where the cost logic becomes the ultimate weapon. We must look at the economics. A high-end air defense missile can cost millions of dollars. A single FPV drone, however, costs only a few $1,000s. In a direct confrontation, the attacker achieves a devastating effect by forcing the defender to spend hundreds of thousands on an interception that might fail. This creates a dangerous imbalance. LEAP's promise is to flip that equation. It is not about replacing the Patriot system entirely. It is about creating a lower layer of defense, a system designed to absorb the sheer volume of cheap drone attacks without draining the most valuable, high-end air defense stocks. A low-cost interceptor drone does not need to match the speed or range of a multi-million-dollar missile. Its job is different. It is there to kill cheap drones cheaply, leaving the expensive missiles available for the targets that truly demand them. This is the central logic of layered defense.
The architecture is sound. The logic is undeniable. But every grand engineering solution faces a harsh reality: the gap between the blueprint and the battlefield. Can LEAP actually perform as well as it is being promoted? On paper, the idea is powerful. The battlefield logic supports it. But Europe faces a unique and perhaps more dangerous challenge: institutional friction. To transition from a battlefield concept to an operational capability requires more than just hardware. It demands safety standards, rigorous interoperability protocols, standardized training pipelines, airtight legal frameworks, and seamless NATO integration. And here lies the primary threat to LEAP's timeline: bureaucracy. Every national defense ministry, every industrial sector, every partner nation will impose its own priorities. This complexity creates a procurement maze, a slow, multi-country negotiation process that operates on years, not months. The threat moves in months. European procurement often moves in years. This gap is a critical vulnerability. Furthermore, we must address the drone bubble. Is this a genuine technological transformation, or is it a manufactured opportunity? The honest answer is both. The drone revolution is real. Ukraine has proven that. Drones are reshaping logistics, forcing armies to rethink maneuver and changing the very definition of warfare. Any serious military ignoring drones now is choosing blindness. But the market around drones can still be inflated. Every company seeks an autonomous solution. Every investor seeks exposure to the next defense boom. This creates an incentive to overpromise. A prototype that functions flawlessly in a simulation may collapse under the weight of real-world, environmental, or with shortages. Leap must avoid becoming a mere branding umbrella for every fashionable defense technology. It must maintain razor-sharp focus. The logistics are just as critical. A cheap interceptor drone still needs batteries, spare motors, launch containers, crews, software updates, maintenance pipeline. The battlefield does not care about a diagram. It cares if the unit has the spare parts at 3 a.m., if the operator knows the target, and if replacement components arrive before the next attack. This brings us to the painful truth. Cheap systems will fail. A low-cost interceptor will not have the reliability of a high-end missile. A jammer will fail against autonomous navigation. A sensor may confuse friendly drones. But in mass warfare, perfection becomes a trap. The aim of Leap is not to create a flawless weapon. The aim is to build a layered system where failure of one method does not collapse the defense. Redundancy is the key to survival. The road ahead for Leap is not a straight paved highway. It is a cycle. The moment Leap believe it have solved the problem is the moment the threat evolves. The future of Leap cannot be a single static product. It must be a living system, a perpetual cycle of innovation, deployment, feedback, and rapid upgrade. The projection. In the next 5 to 10 years, Leap's project of evolution along 3 key vectors. 1. Hypermodularization. The system must become utterly plug and play. Every sensor, every effector, every communication protocol must be standardized. This allows for instantaneous swapping. If a new threat emerges, a new sensor package, or a new kinetic effector can be integrated into the existing command network without tearing down the entire system. 2. Autonomy deepening. The current focus on automated tracking could eventually evolve into deeper, integrated autonomy. Leap may move beyond simple route planning toward more complex, multi-domain decision support. In theory, this could include advanced AI for predictive threat modeling, not just reacting to current drone threats, but estimating where the next swarm may emerge. The long-term ambition would be anticipatory defense, where assets are positioned based on probability, pattern analysis, and battlefield data instead of waiting for the threat to appear. 3. Supply chain supremacy. To survive the logistical gauntlet, the emphasis must shift from mere production to supply chain mastery. This means building redundant, localized production capabilities across Europe. This is the antidote to dependency, ensuring that even if one region faces disruption, the system can sustain itself through localized manufacturing and rapid repair pipelines. However, this future is not guaranteed. The pace of technological change is relentless. The adversary will not stand still. Drones will become faster. They will adopt more sophisticated jamming resistance. They will utilize optical control links, and they will begin incorporating rudimentary, localized autonomy. Every countermeasure we deploy today will spawn a new countermeasure tomorrow. If Europe successfully navigates this transition, Leap becomes more than just a counter-drone program. It becomes a foundational element of modern European defense, a testament to an institution's capacity to learn from conflict, adapt quickly, and institutionalize a new, cost-effective doctrine. If it fails, if Leap remains trapped in a slow, multinational procurement cycle, it will be a stark reminder that the battlefield moves faster than the institutions designed to defend it. The drone age is here. It is not coming. It is changing everything. And whether Leap succeeds or fails will determine who controls the pace of that change. Thank you for watching. I want to hear your take on this. Do you think Europe can actually build cheap counter-drone systems fast enough? Or will bureaucracy slow it down again? Is LEAP a necessary evolution of air defense? Or is it another piece of hype built around the drone boom? Tell me what you think in the comments, because this is one of those topics where the answer is not obvious. And for more military technology and defense analysis like this, you can subscribe to this channel.